I am a Chi alum. I was ordained in 2011 with a rather large class, I think. And I worked in my primary work as a minister and chaplain was with elderly, and both people who were able to stay at home but needed help, or people in assisted living. And it was a very rich and deeply informative time for me. I had had done many things out in the world and been politically active, and that change to quietness of elders moved something and taught me something that I packed with me when I came to San Carlos, which is the name of the town I live in. I have been here for 5 years. 2 years previous to that, I had started a contemplative life intentionally. That was my goal. And at the time, I was still working, and I fitted in on my days off and tried to learn about that. And then all of a sudden, I didn't have to go to work anymore. I didn't have to show up. Nobody needed me. My kids are well grown. My job was over, and I live in a beach town. And as much as I was kind of wallowing in it and loving it, there was a voice inside saying, but you're not engaged in this important time in our life, this difficult time. What are you doing here doing nothing? So I thought, well, my close friend gave me a direction many years ago and said, Sharon, bloom where you're planted. This is what old women do. This is why we are valuable. I sit here a lot, and I watch the birds who come and feed in the feeder that I have, and I think they don't have any internal messages telling them they should be, getting online and involved, or they should be back in the States so that they can join the Poor People's Campaign. And I say, I don't do anything really directly. I just am who I am in the world. Of course, that's sometimes hard for people to understand. They smile and say, oh, yeah. But it's really who I am as an old woman. And I am an old woman. And my intention is to remake what you thought or think about that phrase and give it a new face. This is what old women look like. This is what old women do. This morning I woke up and I thought, you know what? The coronavirus, it doesn't mean anything to the birds. It doesn't mean anything to those fish. They're just all still doing what they do. They're being who they are. And for me, that learning began a long time ago when I first heard, phrases like awareness or presence. I don't think we learn to be by intention. I think we learn to just be who we are at this stage in the life that we are expressing, by learning to listen to ourselves and learning to be aware and tuned in and present every minute of every day throughout our life. And no, nobody could do that. I don't even think the Dalai Lama does it. I don't think anybody can do it, but we practice it. That's why we call it a practice. And the value that that has is that you get to really absorb the gifts that and the lessons that life has to offer you. And I'm lucky enough that in listening to myself, I have reinvigorated my writing practice, which is part of my spiritual practice. In reality, this is where I've been planted. And I'm trying each day to bloom here, not back in California. So I just feel that we are hurrying through life. We are telling ourselves stories about what we have to do and what we should be doing. And we're leading our lives according to those decisions and those perceptions. And if we could stop and listen, really just listen to the arc of our own life, it might be very different. And when we line up with that arc, there's a synchronistic magic that happens, that life unfolds in front of us. So I wish you all the ability to listen to yourself, to really stop and hear what your soul, your mind, and your body are speaking to you. I have a wonderful prayer I like to try to say every day. Actually, it's not so much a prayer as a Taoist mantra. Heaven is my father, earth is my mother. All beings are my companions. All things are my companions. I am returning to my source, like the stream returns to ocean, becoming one with heaven, the Father, and earth, the Mother, and all beings. I turn myself over to the transforming and caring of the cosmos. I listen to the sound of love in silence. I have heard the way. I am returning home. May it be so for all of you.